Well, today, I decided I would do my first iceberg video. Icebergs have always been interesting for me, since you get a deeper dive into a subject, and for my first iceberg, I decided to choose a subject that is familiar with my channel, with that being SpongeBob. But before I begin the video, I think I should give a quick explanation to what an iceberg video is, in case people haven't seen one before. Basically, an iceberg video pretty much talks about a specific topic or issue. The entries at the top level are pretty basic or well-known information, and as we get further down the list, the topics become more obscure and sometimes disturbing. Anyway, I hope that clears things up some, and with that being said, let's take a look at the SpongeBob Iceberg. Bikini Atoll. Bikini Atoll is an atoll of the Marshall Islands, and it's believed to have inspired Bikini Bottom in the SpongeBob series. There's more to Bikini Atoll, however, since after the end of World War II, the US would do nuclear tests on the atoll. This has led to many fans speculating that the radiation from a nuclear test could have mutated the citizens of Bikini Bottom, which is why this society is more advanced than other sea life. Whether you believe in this theory or not is still an interesting explanation as to how the world of SpongeBob exists, which is why it's one of the most popular theories in the franchise. The 7 Deadly Sins. Speaking of theories, this is another theory that has become popular within the fanbase, which states that the characters in SpongeBob represent the 7 Deadly Sins, and when you look into it more, it sorta makes sense. The theory states that SpongeBob represents lust, since while he doesn't really have a strong attachment to anyone, he still does have a strong attachment to his job and friends, that can go a little overboard at times. Squidward represents wrath, since most of the time he hates his job and is always angry at the characters around him. Patrick would represent sloth, since he's a pretty lazy character and just sleeps under his rock most of the time. Mr. Krabs represents greed because he obviously has a strong attachment to money and refuses to spend too much of it. Plankton would represent envy, since he's always jealous of the success that Krabs has. Sandy represents pride because she always talks about how proud she is of her inventions and being from Texas, which can go to extreme lengths at times. And finally, Gay would represent gluttony, since it shows that he can eat a lot at times. While this theory does have holes in it, since you could argue that other characters can represent sins as well, but it's still another interesting topic to talk about. Patrick and Gary are related. In the Season 4 episode Wool of Dumb, there's a chart that shows Patrick's family tree. In the chart, it shows that Patrick and Gary are first cousins, making them related, which is actually a sort of cool fact. Bikini Bottom Mysteries. Bikini Bottom Mysteries was a series that was uploaded to the official SpongeBob YouTube page. The series would focus on more minor details of the show, like the misfortunate life of Old Man Jenkins, and secrets of other minor characters, which is actually a really cool idea for an online series. Lego stop motion videos. If you look up Lego SpongeBob in the YouTube search bar, then you're likely to find dozens of videos of people making stop motion videos of Lego SpongeBob, with videos ranging in quality, and I just find it really cool how innovative some of these videos can be. SpongeBoy. In 1997's Pitch Bible, it was revealed that SpongeBob's original name was supposed to be SpongeBoy. However, due to a supposed trademark by a mop company, the name was changed to SpongeBob instead. King Neptune's design change. If you watched both Season 1 episode Neptune's Spatula and the first SpongeBob movie, you notice that both the Neptunes are different characters, as one is more lively and young, and the other is more aged and bald. This is likely due to the first King Neptune design being copyrighted, as Paramount produced the first SpongeBob movie, and decided to create their own Neptune. However, this isn't an issue anymore since Paramount would merge with Viacom in 2019, and there have been references to the movie Neptune ever since. The background characters. This entry is most likely referencing how some of the background characters have become major staples in the SpongeBob franchise. For example, you have Fred the Fish, who is known for saying "my leg" every time he gets injured, as well as other moments throughout the series. Chocolate. Chocolate refers to a meme from the Season 3 episode Chocolate with Nuts. In the episode, SpongeBob and Patrick are trying to sell candy bars. During their adventure, they run into one customer who keeps yelling this phrase:
Chocolate? Chocolate! Chocolate! Chocolate!
Daylog. This is a reference to another popular meme from the season 2 episode, Something Smells. In the episode, SpongeBob gets bad breath, and confuses this for people thinking that he's ugly. During the movie theater scene, he asks a guy if he thinks he's ugly, and SpongeBob gets this response:
Not at all, boy!
Handsome Squidward. Handsome Squidward is again another popular meme that originated in the season 5 episode, The Two Faces of Squidward. In the episode, SpongeBob accidentally slams a door on Squidward's face, making him attractive. Squidward would initially like all the attention he's receiving, however, he would eventually get annoyed at everyone bothering him. SpongeBob would try to slam the door on Squidward's face, but instead it results in Squidward looking like this, which has become one of the most recognizable photos in the series' history. SpongeBob's age estimation. SpongeBob's age is one of the biggest mysteries in the show. According to SpongeBob's license that he received a few times, he was born on July 14, 1986, which would have made him 13 years old when the show debuted in '99. However, this has caused some inconsistencies, like how could SpongeBob work a full-time job, and how can he afford his house if he was underage at the time? Also, his parents are still alive, so why doesn't he live with them? To be honest, it's probably best not to question too much about SpongeBob's age, and just assume that he's 25 years old, like Hillenburg said. The Splinter. The Splinter is a very infamous episode from season 6, as it's considered one of the worst episodes in the entire series. Not only is the plot weak, as it's basically about SpongeBob trying to get a splinter out and get back to work, but the jokes aren't even funny. What makes the episode worse though, is that you see many close-ups of SpongeBob's injury, as it starts getting infected and pulsating with pus, which is just extremely gross. So yeah, no wonder this is considered one of the worst episodes in the series. One Course Meal Controversy. One Course Meal is another infamous episode, appearing in season 7. The episode focused on Plankton's fear of whales, which was spawned from his family being eaten by a whale. The controversy would come as Mr. Krabs would start dressing up as Pearl and scaring Plankton constantly. This affects Plankton so bad that he goes through a psychological breakdown, and will eventually lay on the road and say that he would rather get ran over by a bus than live. Not only is this something that is extremely dark for SpongeBob, but the episode isn't even funny, which is why One Course Meal is so controversial. A Day with SpongeBob. Okay, this is interesting. So basically, A Day with SpongeBob was once believed to be an unofficial lost movie about SpongeBob, with the only thing that was supposedly found is the DVD cover and this music track. As well as the movie description. In this documentary, SpongeBob lives above ground like all Hollywood superstars. Afraid that SpongeBob is becoming old news, his boss runs a contest called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. The contest makes SpongeBob the talk of the town, as thousands of kids enter to win. The lucky winner is Seth, and he is ecstatic about his day with SpongeBob. However, the day becomes a roller coaster ride, as things do not go quite the way they planned. While this potential movie sounds somewhat interesting, the search for the movie was cancelled in 2016, as it was determined to be fake, or at the very least being cancelled. If you're still interested in the topic, I'll leave Lemon Ahoy's video in the description, as he goes much more in depth on the subject. My leg. As I stated in a previous entry, my leg has become one of the most well-known memes in SpongeBob. It has become so iconic that the character Fred has become more than a background character, as there was an entire episode dedicated to him, so good for Fred. Red Mist. Red Mist, also known as Squidward's disappearing, is one of the most popular cartoon creepypastas. The story would go that a lost episode of SpongeBob exists called Red Mist. In the episode, Squidward is practicing for an upcoming concert. Then all of a sudden, a Scotchfish would come by and warn him of red mist. Later on, Squidward would perform at the concert, However, all the audience members will get realistic guys and boo him, which includes SpongeBob. The rest of the episode will be of Squidward crying before he gets a shotgun at the end, and yeah. While the story isn't really the most original, it still helped inspire many other creepypastas, like Dead Bart and Grieving, and this won't be the last time that reference will be missed on this iceberg. The Krabby Patty Secret Formula. The Krabby Patty secret formula is probably the biggest secret in SpongeBob. There's been many suggestions as to what it could be, from potentially being crab meat, due to the Krusty Krab looking like a crab trap, to even being other fish or plankton. However, most of these options has been stated as not true. In the third SpongeBob movie, the formula was stated to be SpongeBob, which even means that the formula is literally sponge, or love and care, but still unknown to this day. Cheap walk cycles. In the season 3 special, The Sponge Who Could Fly, Patrick tries to find the lost episode. He eventually finds it and is excited about seeing it. However, the episode just shows SpongeBob walking down the street while making expressions. This makes Patrick mad and causes him to shout this.
The last episode? That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip! SpongeBob betrayed us!
He then goes on his famous meltdown and almost destroys the place, before Potty says that the real episode is playing. This is just a really funny and memorable moment from the series. House Fancy Toenail Scene. In the season 6 episode House Fancy, there's a very infamous scene of Squidward's toenail getting ripped out, which I don't know how that's possible since octopuses don't have nails, but still, it's a very controversial scene. To understand why, I'll probably have to show you. Sorry about this, by the way.
Now don't move it till I say ow! Okay, it's on my foot, now don't.
Okay.
Ow! SpongeBob, I told you not to move it till I said ow!
Bob the Sponge. Bob the Sponge was a character from Stephen Hillenburg's 1984 comic, The Untitled Zone. Many fans believe that this is an early version of SpongeBob. Unlike the SpongeBob we know, Bob the Sponge had a rounder shape that is similar to some sea sponge species, while SpongeBob has a more dish sponge look, but still, it's cool to see an early design of our beloved sponge. Plankton swearing. This entry is a reference to a YouTube video where we see Plankton's voice actor, Doug Lawrence, playing his role as Plankton. In the video he says this.
My name is Plankton. Come and eat at the chug bucket. Every fucking day you come down and we'll stuff your face full of shit.
Honestly, I think it's sort of cool and funny to see characters from our childhood cussing. So yeah, this is a pretty cool entry. Sponge Boy Ahoy. Remember when I mentioned the 1997 Pitch Bible, where SpongeBob was originally supposed to be called Sponge Boy? Well, the original name for SpongeBob SquarePants was supposed to be Sponge Boy Ahoy. However, with the name supposedly having a trademark, it was never used, but still, it's cool to see early names and ideals for the series. Johnny Depp. In the season 6 special, SpongeBob SquarePants vs. the Big One, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward get stranded on an island and must learn how to surf to make it back to Bikini Bottom. Their surfing teacher, Jack Kahuna Laguna, is played by none other than Johnny Depp, and is one of the first of a couple of celebrity appearances that'll be in this iceberg. SpongeBob homosexuality controversy. During the early years of the series, there were concerns from some parents that SpongeBob could be homosexual. This rumor was started due to how SpongeBob sometimes interacts with Patrick and Squidward. In a 2005 interview, Stephen Hillenburg would deny the rumors, say that SpongeBob is actually asexual, like sponges in the wild, and doesn't have a romantic interest in anyone. Then in 2020, there was controversy again, as the Nickelodeon Twitter account would post a picture of SpongeBob during Pride Month. Which again, asexual is considered LGBT, so I think the controversy is way overblown, and also sorta stupid, since SpongeBob is just a cartoon character, and who he has feelings for shouldn't affect your enjoyment of the show. The perception of Season 4 becoming appealing. During the mid to late 2000s, when people online talked about SpongeBob, they would state that Seasons 1 through 3 were the best, while everything past that was bad, starting in Season 4. However, as time has gone by and people look back on Season 4, there has been more appreciation towards it, with episodes like Lost Mattress, Have You Seen the Snail, Krusty Towers, Skill Crane, and many others being praised by fans. So while it's true that Season 4 isn't perfect and does have its fair share of bad episodes, with Good Neighbors being a prime example, I think the good outweighs the bad, and Season 4 is now seen as a good season to look back on. Barack Obama's favorite character. During the 2016 rally in Michigan, in support of the presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, the president at the time, Barack Obama, would say this: "I had a soft spot for SpongeBob. SpongeBob was probably my favorite." With how important a figure the president is, it just shows how influential SpongeBob has become in our culture today. Astrology with Squidward. Astrology with Squidward was shorts that were aired on Nickelodeon from 2000 to 2001, but shorts would mostly focus on Squidward talking about the zodiac signs, while giving the horoscope of the day. There were originally rumors that some of these shorts were lost, however, in 2019 they were proven false, as the SpongeBob channel will upload all the shorts, which includes 6 episodes, titled Cancer, Gemini, Leo, Pisces, Sagittarius, and Taurus. Honestly, these are pretty good shorts. If you're interested in astrology, I would totally recommend checking them out. March 1st, 2018 hoax. In February 2018, a post was uploaded to Twitter. The post was what looked like the official SpongeBob Twitter account, saying that on March 1st, the series would be coming to an end. This would make some fans upset. However, it was later proven that the post was faked, and with the show being renewed for a 15th season, if that's also a multi-billion-dollar franchise, I doubt SpongeBob is going anywhere for a while. Jimmy Neutron takes over Nick. During 2001, when the Jimmy Neutron movie was coming out, Nickelodeon did a really cool promotional campaign, where Jimmy would appear on random episodes and do stuff like this.
Again.
We promise, Mr. Krabs.
I need a sailor's promise. Repeat after me. Yo-ho, yo-ho. Near the hooks, I'll never go.
Yo-ho, yo-ho. Near the hooks, we'll never go.
Yo-ho! Mother of pearl! Fire on the poop deck!
Ah! Fire on the poop deck!
This was just really unique. I wish there were more promotional work like this today. SpongeBob Super Bowl petition. On November 27, 2018, a day after Steven Hillenburg's death, a petition was posted on Change.org to perform the iconic song Sweet Victory at the 2019 Super Bowl halftime show to honor his memory. The petition would be very successful, getting over 1 million pledges. However, when the time came, they didn't play the song, as they teased it on television before Travis Scott came and interrupted it. There was a video of SpongeBob performing the song for the promotion of the Train 4 Super Bowl. However, many fans are still upset about the fake tease in 2019. Palestinian Krusty Krab. In 2014, a restaurant very similar to the Krusty Krab opened in Palestine. Not only does the outside and inside look very similar to the restaurant in the show, but there's even figures of SpongeBob characters as well. However, the restaurant permanently closed in 2019, most likely due to Viacom and Nickelodeon threatening to press charges, since the Krusty Krab property is owned by them, which is a shame since I love to visit a real-life Krusty Krab restaurant one day. Shanghai, different endings. As I mentioned in my Patrick the Pirate video, Shanghai was originally titled You Wish, and in the special, fans would call to Nickelodeon and pick which character got the last wish. The winner of the contest ended up being SpongeBob, and he wished for the Flying Dutchman to be vegetarian, so he doesn't eat them. However, the Dutchman would turn the gang into fruit and chase them. However, there are different endings if Patrick or Squidward ended up winning the contest. If Squidward got the last wish, then he would wish that he'd never met SpongeBob and Patrick. However, the Dutchman would just erase their memories and eat them anyway. If Patrick got the wish, then he would wish for gum, saying that if they were to get eaten, they might as well have fresh breath. So while the ending didn't change too much, it's still cool that they animate different results, depending on who won. David Bowie's cameo. This is a reference to another celebrity cameo on SpongeBob, as David Bowie would play the King of Atlantis in Atlantis Squarepantis. And like I said in my review of the episode, he doesn't actually sing, which is sort of disappointing. Also a fun fact that I haven't heard anyone mention before. The King of Atlantis actually has 2 different eye colors, which is most likely a reference to David Bowie having 2 different eye colors in real life, and I just thought that was a cool detail. Yummer. Okay, this is another interesting one. So in the online game SpongeBob Saves the Day, some data miners decided to go through the source code. What they found was sort of surprising, as they found a very creepy face with the name Yummer. Many fans would send emails to the development team, asking what the origin of Yummer was, and why he was in the game files. The team would finally respond by saying that Yummer was an inside joke that they used during development, and was used as a placeholder when they were editing the game, but forgot to remove his code once the game was finished. Since then, Yummer has sort of become a cool Easter egg, not only in the SpongeBob community, but also in game forums as well. Red Mist in a SpongeBob episode. You remember the Red Mist entry from Layer 1, right? Well, what if I told you that the story was actually sort of canon? In the Season 12 episode, SpongeBob in Random Land, we actually get a reference to the creepypasta in this clip. This clip will eventually get replaced in reruns of the episode with Baby Squidward. However, it's still cool that reference to the creepypasta was in an official episode. I Was a Teenage Gary, deleted scene. Do you remember the scene in Season 1 episode I Was a Teenage Gary, in which SpongeBob would start turning into a snail? Well, several people claim that there was a similar scene, in which Squidward would get transformed at the end of the episode, but would claim that the scene got deleted in reruns due to it being too disturbing. However, when people show clips of the original airing, the scene didn't exist, plus many of the show writers for that episode claim that wasn't even talked about. So it's either a case of misremembering or Mandela effect, but it's still an interesting thing to talk about. SpongeBob in real life, J Chase Films. J Chase Films is a YouTuber who is best known for his series, SpongeBob in Real Life. The series will be about him bringing SpongeBob and other anime characters into real life and going on adventures. For a YouTube series, the videos aren't really high quality. The story also gets crazier, as there's a villain who's trying to destroy the 2D dimension, and all the anime characters have to team up and stop him, sort of like in Avengers. Anyway, if you have time, I would definitely recommend checking out the series, as it is pretty entertaining. Robo Squidward. Okay, so the next few entries are about the classic SpongeBob game, Battle for Bikini Bottom, and to be honest, I've never actually played the game before.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I know, I'm missing out, and I plan on playing the game in the near future. Anyway, from what I could find, Robo Squidward would refer to an unused boss from the first Battle of Bikini Bottom game. Robo Squidward would make a return in the Rehydrate remake, however, it will only be in multiplayer mode. Battle for Bikini Bottom, unused boss phase. In the original Battle for Bikini Bottom, there was a boss phase for Robo SpongeBob, where he would pull out his anchor arms, in reference to the Season 1 episode, Muscle Bob Buff Pants. Like that episode, the key to defeating the boss was deflating its arms. However, this boss phase was never used. Battle for Bikini Bottom, Patrick's Dream. This refers to another unused level in Battle for Bikini Bottom, in which you will explore the dream of Patrick, but like the last 2 entries, they will bring this level back in the Rehydrate remake, which I think is cool for the team to bring unused assets back. Battle for Bikini Bottom, Glove World. In the original Battle for Bikini Bottom, Glove World was supposed to be a level in the game. However, it will unfortunately be scrapped, and unlike the last few entries, was not included in Rehydrated, but it is in other games, so at least that's good. SpongeBob, pilot intro. Everyone watching this video should know the SpongeBob intro. Not only is it one of the most iconic themes in animation, it's also one of the best themes of any television show. However, when work was done for the 1997 pilot, a different intro played.
I'm ready.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
To be honest, this is also a really cool intro that's reminiscent of the 90s. However, there's a good reason why they chose to use the current intro instead. SpongeBob referencing Phineas and Ferb. In the Phineas and Ferb episode, Summer Belongs to You, Phineas will start to dig a hole on an island when he will say this.
Look, a sponge and a starfish. There's gotta be something we can make out of this. Oh no, that's ridiculous.
I mean, SpongeBob and Patrick did make Nickelodeon billions of dollars, so it turns out you can make something out of a sponge and starfish. Reef Blower. Reef Blower is one of the more interesting episodes in the series. It's the shortest episode, which is mostly due to help fill in the pilot for being short of 11 minutes. It's also the only episode that doesn't have any speaking roles. In fact, there used to be a rumor that there were any speaking roles due to the equipment malfunctioning. However, this was later disproven, and the real reason for there being no audio in the episode is so Nickelodeon didn't have to pay voice actors more. So yeah, this is easily one of the more unique episodes in the series. Have a bowl, Mr. Squidward. Have a bowl, Mr. Squidward is a saying that has become very popular thanks to this video.
Have a bowl, Mr. Squidward! Dig a hole, Mr. Squidward! Take a stroll, Mr. Squidward! Your arms are swole, Mr. Squidward! Whack-a-mole, Mr. Squidward! Pay the toll, Mr. Squidward! Score a goal, Mr. Squidward! Ow.
The more you watch it, the more catchier it gets. SpongeBob is asexual. Like I said in an earlier entry, Steven Hillenburg intends SpongeBob to be asexual, since sponges in the wild reproduce asexually. Also, he wants SpongeBob to focus more on the comedy, rather than romance, which is something that I can totally understand, and why I think To Love a Patty is a horrible episode. Roger Bumpass arrested. Roger Bumpass is known as the voice of Squidward Tentacles, and on January 15, 2016, Bumpass would be arrested for DUI, as his blood alcohol level was 2 times over the legal limit. There were questions if Bumpass would get punished for his offense or not. However, Nickelodeon decided that the charge wasn't too serious and let the incident slide. As of this video, Bumpass hasn't had any other legal issues, so good for him. Sailor Mouth Uncensored. You remember the season 2 episode Sailor Mouth, right? The episode where SpongeBob and Patrick learn a curse word and use it like crazy? Well, in that episode, the words were obviously censored. However, Tom Kenny and other voice actors confirmed that uncensored version of the episode exists. Ever since then, there's been a huge search of trying to find the uncensored version. In fact, in February of this year, a supposed audio leak of the episode was found. However, there is debate on whether this is AI or not, so I'll let you be the judge.
Ha! Escalators!
Eels.
Ah! Blow me!
Spongehenge Scaring Kids. Spongehenge is a season 5 episode that has a very different vibe than a traditional SpongeBob episode. When you think of a typical episode, you imagine nautical adventures with SpongeBob and friends. However, Spongehenge is an exception, as there's a massive rainstorm that will attract jellyfish to SpongeBob, causing all the characters to get mad at him. Eventually, SpongeBob will run away and live in a cave, where he eventually finds a solution to the jellyfish problem, but when he returns, he notices that Bikini Bottom and everything that he once knew and loved has been destroyed. Obviously, this episode creeped kids out, including myself, because it just feels so cold and empty, and in some cases, even prevent viewers from coming back to the series. Squidward's father. Squidward's father is a character that we really don't know much about, since he was only referenced once in Crabborg. However, in the book Hooray for Dads, we find out a little more about him. His name is Jeffrey Tentacles, and he's a lot similar to his son, with the only difference physically is him wearing glasses. They're also disinterested in people, but he still cares a lot for Squidward, which is a nice thought. Encino, California. Encino, California is a neighborhood near the Los Angeles area, and is the home of Patchy the Pirate. There's even a song in Atlanta Square Panthers called Back in Encino, so yeah, pretty fun fact about Patchy. The mystery of Pearl's mother. Another big mystery that's in the series is how Pearl ended up being Crab's daughter, or more importantly, who is Pearl's mother or Crab's wife. There are many theories to this question, ranging from Crab's adopting Pearl to Crab's rescuing her during his Navy days. However, there is one answer that seems plausible. In a trivia book by a show writer, it was revealed that Mr. Krabs used to be married to Mrs. Krabs, who was a sperm whale, and that they produced Pearl. However, it's still unknown what she looks like and what happened to her. Stephen Hillenburg would even say that the mystery of Pearl's mother was something they didn't want to answer, so we may never know what happened to Pearl's mom. Have You Seen This Snail? Original plot. Have You Seen This Snail is one of the highlight episodes of Season 4, as the episode will focus on the relationship between SpongeBob and Gary, with Gary running away from home. You might remember the old woman from the episode, the one that took Gary in, but eventually, Gary will realize that she will often overfeed snails, as he sees a lot of broken and empty shells in the closet. In the episode, this was due to the woman caring too much. However, in the original plot, the woman was supposed to be evil, as she would overfeed Gary and attempt to eat him, similar to the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel. She would even wield an axe, as she would chase Gary down the street. However, this plot would change, due to the writers thinking that would be too dark for the series. And if Gary is supposed to be a real-life equivalent of a cat, I can understand that sentiment. The Intertidal Zone. The Intertidal Zone was a 1984 comic book written by Stephen Hillenburg. It was created to teach children about marine life when Hillenburg was working at the Ocean Institute. While Hillenburg worked on Rocko's Modern Life, one of the show's key writers, Martin Olson, would see some of the pages of the comic and suggest Hillenburg to make a cartoon out of it, and thus SpongeBob was born. Stolen SpongeBob Rooftop Balloons. In November of 2004, Burger King would do a promotion for the first SpongeBob movie by putting up a SpongeBob balloon on the rooftops of over 4,000 Burger King locations across the US. The promotion was doing well until there were sightings and reports of the balloons being stolen. The issue would get so bad that local news would start reporting the thefts as sponge nappings. Burger King would eventually promise customers a year's worth of free Whoppers, as well as other items if they returned the balloons. Some of the people would return the balloons, while others would sell them for high prices online, or find them in other places. A few were even weirdly associated with house fires. You can still find some of these balloons selling online today, with what I found having an asking price of $2,500. So yeah, while this is a funny story to look back on, it will go down as a failure for Burger King. 2009 Burger King controversy. We again have another entry about Burger King controversy. In 2009, for a promotion for SpongeBob's Truth or Square special, Burger King would release an ad on TV. In the ad, it featured a parody of Sir Mix-a-Lot's song Baby Got Back, titled SpongeBob Got Back.
You other sponges don't want none unless you rock square buns.
The Burger King mascot would sing the song, with the lyrics talking about how nice SpongeBob's ass is, as well as square butts in general. There's even a bunch of women in the song dressed as SpongeBob, and they would shake their square bottoms throughout the ad. Obviously, a lot of parents would get upset about the ad, saying that's too sexual for a kid's product. However, both Burger King and Nickelodeon would respond, saying that the ad was meant for parents and adults, but it still didn't stop criticism. Looking back on the ad, it is definitely weird, but I also find it funny as well, with just how absurd the concept is, so I guess Burger King succeeded in making a memorable ad. Morning Glory. Morning Glory refers to a song by the band Ween. Originally, Stephen Hillenburg wanted this song to play in the outro of the first movie. However, since the song cursed, it was swapped out with another Ream song, Ocean Man, instead. After listening to both songs, I agree with Ocean Man being a better pick, as not only is it kid-friendly, but it also fits the theme of the series really well, and is a general bop. SpongeBob Lost Dubs. From what I could find, there are many examples of lost international dubs of the SpongeBob series, with the reason for disappearing ranging from being illegal to the license expiring. While I might not have a lot of information on them, I still find international dubs interesting. Just One Bite, deleted scene. In the season 3 episode Just One Bite, there's a deleted scene where Squidward goes to Krusty Krab at night, but he triggers a bucket of gasoline falling on the floor, then a robot hand drops a match and burns Squidward. Once Squidward got to the grill area, the same thing will happen again. The scene will ultimately get cut, however, most likely due to the episode airing near the 9/11 attacks, as well as potentially exposing kids to light gasoline. While the scene doesn't air in reruns of the episode, it is still accessible to view on YouTube. Procrastination, deleted scene. Just like in the last entry, the season 2 episode Procrastination also has a few deleted scenes. The first scene is of a sunny day outside, as Patrick rubs sunscreen on Sandy, which was likely removed due to it look like Patrick is removing Sandy's bra. The second deleted scene is a real life video of a car wreck, which was likely removed for how violent it is. Finally, the scene where SpongeBob does calisthenics, which was likely deleted due to SpongeBob's nose moving up and down and kind of looking provocative. While these scenes haven't made a return on Nickelodeon reruns, they did make a return to Nicktoons in 2019, and these scenes are also viewable on Amazon Prime and Paramount Plus as well. Midlife Crustacean. While this is an entry in the Iceberg, I still thought it was appropriate due to the recent entries. Anyway, Midlife Crustacean is a season 3 episode. It will focus on Krabs going through a midlife crisis, while SpongeBob and Patrick try to make him feel young again. However, in 2018, the episode would be removed from airing on reruns, due to the panty raid scene at the end being deemed inappropriate, even though SpongeBob has told inappropriate jokes in the past. While the episode is still available online, no streaming service sadly airs it, which is a shame since I thought it was one of the classics in the series. Super Sponge, lewd concept art. Super Sponge is a SpongeBob game that was released on the PlayStation and Game Boy Advance in 2001 and was developed by THQ. While nothing is particularly wrong with the game, there was some inappropriate art found in the game files. Due to YouTube's rules, I cannot show what these photos are, but if you're interested in seeing them, I'll leave a link in the description. Peter Strauss, Ripped Pants. Not to be confused with the actor, Peter Strauss was a writer for a lot of SpongeBob songs from seasons 1 through 4. Some of the top songs he wrote include Ripped Pants, Doom the Sponge, and That's What Friends Do. Peter Strauss would actually do the singing voice for SpongeBob in the Ripped Pants episode, so that's a fun fact for you. Scaredy Pants, SpongeBob's Brain. In the season 1 Halloween special, Scaredy Pants, there's a scene in which SpongeBob is scared of the Flying Dutchman by revealing his exposed brain under his costume. However, there was originally supposed to be a more close-up look at SpongeBob, but was ultimately scrapped, most likely due to how disturbing the shot could have been to kids. Texas, deleted scene. In the season 1 episode, Texas, there's a scene where SpongeBob will hold his breath until his face turned red. However, the scene was scrapped for reasons unknown. Animation cells still exist of the scene, and several people have used them to make a rough recreation of what it might have looked like. SpongeBob Rehydrated. SpongeBob Rehydrated was an ad in 2003 and was once thought to be lost. The ad featured SpongeBob and Patrick fighting in Matrix-like style, and was a play on the 2003 movie, Matrix Reloaded. While the ad can be viewed on YouTube today, the original audio is still missing, so whether the original audio is found or not remains to be seen. SpongeBob and Tehran. SpongeBob and Tehran is an unauthorized Iranian film that was released in 2017. The film would be about SpongeBob and the gang going to Tehran, the capital of Iran, to try and find a secret sauce for the Krabby Patty. The film would be noted for its bootleg status, as well as its poor quality in animation. Believe it or not, there are actually multiple films in the series, but that's for another video. Golden real-life replica of SpongeBob's house. At the Nickelodeon resorts in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, there's a golden replica of SpongeBob's house, which guests can actually stay in. According to the resort, the place is well maintained and actually has accurate replicas of SpongeBob's living room, as well as his bed. Honestly, this is a place that I hope I can experience one day. Plankton got served. This entry could be a reference to two things, the first of which is the original title of One Course Meal, which was Plankton Got Served. The second meaning is of a creepypasta. The story would be an alternative version of One Course Meal, in which Plankton will actually get run over by the bus and die. After his death, Plankton will then stand on a platform, where he decides whether to go to heaven or hell. In the end, Plankton chooses to go to hell to reunite with his ancestors, which is where the episode ends. Both of these entries are just a reminder how morbid the idea of One Course Meal is, and just talking about it sorta makes me depressed, so let's move on. I Wanna Rock. I Wanna Rock is a 1984 song from the hair metal band Twisted Sister. During the first SpongeBob movie, Steven Hillenburg would get the band's permission to use a parody of the song called I'm a Goofy Goober, which was honestly a good thing, since the song in the scene is really cool, with SpongeBob shredding on the guitar and shooting lasers at buckets. It just brings back good memories. Battle for Bikini Bottom, E3 2004. This is a reference to early footage of the Battle for Bikini Bottom game in E3 of 2004. Like any other game, it's interesting to see how the game improved throughout the development. I wish I could say more, but with me not playing the game, it's sort of hard to. But don't worry guys, it's on my list. SpongeBob Invader Pants and Krabs Army. SpongeBob Invader Pants and Krabs Army were episodes that were originally planned to air in Season 9. However, the episodes were later be scrapped, and it sort of became lost media. Not much is really known about these episodes, except for SpongeBob Invader Pants most likely being about an alien invasion, while Krabs' army might have been similar to Plankton's army, with Krabs having his own family. But again, these episodes were eventually scrapped, due to the team thinking they weren't strong enough concepts, and information about them are likely lost. SpongeBob and Chabahar. SpongeBob and Chabahar would be the sequel to SpongeBob in Tehran, but this time the movie would be in live action, as actors would dress up in poorly made costumes as SpongeBob, Patrick, and Mr. Krabs, and explore the city of Chabahar. The movie goes all over the place, as SpongeBob holds a water gun and takes a mafia leader hostage, and then takes a tour of a tuna factory. It sort of reminds me of a really weird fever dream, to be honest. Floorboard Harry. In the Season 2 episode Graveyard Shift, there's a running gag about the lights flickering on and off. At the end of the episode, it was revealed that Nosferatu was flickering the lights, making for an iconic scene. However, there was another character that was supposed to flicker the lights, named Floorboard Harry, who was a character introduced in the episode and is known for having skinny limbs and one eye. But for one reason or another, Floorboard Harry was removed and would be replaced by Nosferatu, making for an interesting what-if scenario. The Endless Summer. The Endless Summer was a short that was created in 2005. The short would be an educational piece about global warming, as Krabs would come up with a plan to create an endless summer by using car exhaust. However, his plan would go too far, and unfortunately destroys the ecosystem of Bikini Bottom. I think the short does a really good job of showing a potential bleak future we may face, if we don't act now to protect our planet. SpongeBob Happiness Squared. SpongeBob Happiness Squared was a game that was being developed in the late 2000s. The game was supposed to be very similar to Battle for Bikini Bottom, since it was developed by the same team. However, the game would ultimately take a new direction, and in 2009, will release as SpongeBob Truth or Square instead, in honor of the series' 10th anniversary. There is a demo video on YouTube that shows what the gameplay and character models would look like. Watching the gameplay, it sort of makes you question what if it did release, and how it would be received looking back. SpongeBob SquarePants Saves the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob Saves the Krusty Krab was a video game that was on the Nickelodeon website in 2002. For a time, the game was considered to be lost media. However, in 2015, the game was found again. When you view the gameplay today, it has aged very poorly, but if you were a kid in the early 2000s, this was probably a blast to play on a school computer. Lost International Scene Edits. This entry is a reference to some of the SpongeBob scenes being edited in other countries. There are two beta lists, so I'll leave a link in the description. But a prime example is when SpongeBob gets censored in the Hindi dub of ripped pants, most likely due to nudity. Green Beret. Green Beret is a 3-minute short created by Steven Hillenburg when he was a student at Cal Arts. The short will focus on Hillenburg's comedic side, as it will show a man watching a military show on TV. Then all of a sudden, a Girl Scout with really large hands would come by and try to sell some cookies. The man would slam the door on her, and she would continue knocking until the house crumbled. We then see the path of destruction she left as she goes to her next victim. As you can see, the short really demonstrates the type of humor prime SpongeBob would have. It remains as an interesting look at Hillenburg's early years. SpongeBob SquarePants Legend of the Lost Spatula. Legend of the Lost Spatula was the first console game in the franchise, releasing on the Game Boy Color in 2001. The game would focus on SpongeBob trying to receive the golden spatula from the Flying Dutchman. The game would receive mixed reviews, and look at the gameplay, it's not hard to see why, as the game has some really rough graphics and simplistic gameplay, but I guess you must start somewhere. Wormholes. Wormholes is another anime short that Steven Hillenburg made while in college. It was originally thought to be lost, but was eventually found in 2019. The short would be 7 minutes long, and would be about Einstein's law of relativity, as the animation would go at different speeds and affect the viewer's perspective. It's a really thought-provoking short if you want to check it out. Battle for Bikini Bottom, unused Goo Lagoon level. This entry will refer to the beta version of Goo Lagoon, which was found in the game files. From what I can tell, the only major difference between the two is that the beta is lighter, and the throw-through is replaced with soccer balls. Again, like I stated in the previous entry, it's fun to explore the game files and see unused concepts of the game. SpongeBill. SpongeBill is a very popular name that YouTubers like to use for SpongeBob YouTube poops. If you don't know what a YouTube poop is, it's basically the act of editing an existing piece of media and using it for comedic purposes. While YouTube poops aren't as prevalent today, since they were more popular in the early 2010s, they still have a nostalgic memory for some people. String Anime. String Anime is a YouTube account that is most well known for its weird 3D SpongeBob animations. The animations just have a really uncanny vibe, and it caused some young viewers to have nightmares.
Absorbent in yellow and porous is he. SpongeBob SquarePants.
There are many other animations like this on YouTube, with some I will talk about later down on the list. SpongeBob Slendy Pants. SpongeBob Slendy Pants is an online game that's a parody of Slenderman 8 Pages, but instead of collecting pages, you must collect Krabby Patties, and instead of Slenderman chasing you, it's SpongeBob instead. The game was played by many prominent YouTubers during its hype, which includes Markiplier and Jacksepticeye.
I can get back. I lost Slendy Pants a long ways back. Not exactly sure where, but he's no longer in the immediate vicinity, and
So yeah, it's a pretty solid game if you like horror parodies. Lost in Time commercials. Lost in Time was a promotional campaign by Burger King in 2006 to promote the Season 4 special, Dunces and Dragons. The promotion will include train exclusive SpongeBob toys, with each toy representing a different culture in the world. The promotion also gave contestants a potential trip to one of those countries, which is actually a really cool promotional campaign, and the first good thing about Burger King in this iceberg. Nicktoons Summer Splash commercials. Nicktoons Summer Splash was a commercial block that would air in the summer of 2000 to 2001. The block would consist of SpongeBob characters acting as hosts, as they would introduce what shows were playing. This was just another very cool promotion, as it would make watching cartoons in the summer feel more special. Nicktoons Summer Beach House. Nicktoons Summer Beach House was sort of a sequel to the previous entry. Not only was the animation quality better, but more Nickelodeon characters were included. Like characters from The Fairly Odd Parents, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and others. Again, this was just a really cool promotion, and was something that was unique at the time. The Burger Mess and Burger Mess 2. The Burger Mess and Burger Mess 2 were supposed SpongeBob games. However, the games are now lost, and not much is known about them, except that they were supposed plug-and-play games, which were developed by Jack Specific in the mid-2000s. But besides that, I couldn't really find anything else, and there are skeptics who say the game might not have even existed in the first place. So if anyone watching this video has any knowledge of the games, please let me know in the comments. Nickelodeon Blimp Short. There was a short that was once thought to be lost, a SpongeBob winner and Blimp did the 2005 Kids' Choice Awards. However, the clip will eventually be found in 2019. Since this was a short entry, I also want to add the fun fact that from 2003 to 2023, SpongeBob has always won the Cartoon Award at the Kids' Choice Awards. There is an exception, however, as in 2008, it was won by Avatar: The Last Airbender instead, and if any show deserves a win over SpongeBob, Avatar is a great choice. Pamtree. Pamtree is another YouTuber who makes weird parodies of cartoons, and more specifically for this video, SpongeBob. His most well-known video is a poorly made parody of the camping episode. While I will say that Pamtree's videos aren't as weird as string animes, they still have a very uncanny feeling and can be creepy to more younger viewers. Ain't Life a Beach. Ain't Life a Beach is a press kit that was given to many Nickelodeon staff. The press kit will include a description of the show, as well as character models and bios. It's considered the first and one of the rare SpongeBob merchandise to exist, as very few were made and only a few photos online of it exist. With most of the staff members probably wanting to hold on to a historic piece, I doubt any will be on sale soon. Nickelodeon Game Builder. This entry refers to a game on the Nickelodeon website in 2009 that allows users to build and customize their own levels for other users to play. However, the server was shut down in 2013 and the game would become lost media. There are videos online that show what the gameplay looks like, but as of this video, it's impossible to access the game itself. Gravjet Racing. Gravjet Racing was a racing game that was supposed to include SpongeBob as well as other Nicktoons characters. The game was set to release in 2009, but was ultimately cancelled due to budget issues. You can find multiple gameplay images as well as concept art online of the game, but still remains lost to time, and it's a shame that the game never did cross the finish line. Nick Extreme Sports. Nick Extreme Sports was a game that was originally designed for the Hyperscan. Wait, what the hell is a Hyperscan? Okay, so basically the Hyperscan was a console that was released in 2006 by Mattel. The system was known for having cards you need to collect in order to unlock certain assets in the game. However, the system was extremely underpowered compared to the Xbox 360, Wii, and PlayStation 3 that was out at the time. Plus, the card feature was extremely annoying, since you have to keep up with them every time you wanted to switch characters. Due to all those flaws, the system didn't even last a year, which returns us to Nick Extreme Sports, as production of the game was cancelled once the system failed. The only thing that exists of the game is a cover for a pack of cards. It's honestly best that this game remains lost. Legends of Bikini Bottom Wraparounds. During Season 7's event, Legends of Bikini Bottom, there were wraparounds before every episode, of Patchy the Pirate reading the book to Party for bedtime. However, some of these segments will end up getting lost, with only a few clips available online, which is a shame since I'm a huge Patchy fan, and if every segment doesn't get found, then you all can walk the plank. Sorry about that. You Pick Live. You Pick Live was a program that aired on Nickelodeon from 2002 to 2005. The program will air from 5 to 7 p.m. and will allow viewers to select which show would play via the internet. There were also sketches and celebrity appearances throughout as well. There are some You Pick Live segments that are currently missing though. I don't know how that specifically relates to SpongeBob, but still, it was cool to look back on some of these sketches. Help Wanted early credits. At the end of every SpongeBob episode, you will usually see a United Plankton Productions closing, as they are the studio responsible for producing SpongeBob. However, in 1997, before the studio was formed, the pilot had a different ending, as it would show a picture of SpongeBob on the screen with the text created by Steven Hillenburg. Again, it's really cool to see early aspects of the show. Tea at the Tree Dome, original title card. On the Super Sponge asset disc, you can view the original title card for the Season 1 episode, Tea at the Tree Dome, that wasn't used in the finalized version. Personally, I think the first one stands out a little more, as I like the text color better, but still, they're both really solid. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. Whipped Pants, original plot. I think this is a reference to an episode of the Pitch Bible called Muscle Beach. In the episode, SpongeBob and Sandy go out on a date at Muscle Beach, the original name of Goo Lagoon. However, their day is ruined by Larry the Lobster. The episode will continue with Larry and SpongeBob fighting, before SpongeBob sings a song that captures everyone's heart. The episode has a lot in common with Ripped Pants, as SpongeBob will get jealous at Larry and sings a heartfelt song at the end. Naked Squidward. From my research, I think this refers to a lost scene in the Season 1 episode Plankton, where Squidward was supposed to be naked. However, the scene was never used for some reason. Which, I don't know how big of a deal this is, since Squidward really doesn't wear any pants and has been naked in several other episodes. But if media exists of it, then I can sort of see why people might want to find it. Squeaky Boots, alternative ending. I couldn't find anything concrete about this entry, but I did read that in the SpongeBob Pitch Bible, the boots were originally supposed to replicate a musical instrument, and be called musical boots. So instead of the boots being annoying in the episode, they instead attracted customers, due to its beautiful melodies, and would potentially make Mr. Krabs jealous. This could also refer to another Pitch Bible, where it states that Mr. Krabs would buy the boots off SpongeBob to get rid of them. However, in the actual episode, he just steals them. Mr. Krabs' parents were supposed to be dead. In the Season 3 episode Clams, there was a deleted joke where Mr. Krabs would try to call his parents after getting his millionth dollar. However, it was instead cut to their gravestones, insinuating that they were dead. The scene was likely deleted due to it being too morbid and dark, but there is an audio of the scene if you want to listen to it.
This is my $1 million earned!
Every crowd's goal in life is to make $1 million, and now I got mine! Mom, Dad, I finally done it! I made me millionth dollar! That's great, son!
Girl Power. During the Season 2 episode, Pre-Hibernation Week, there's a scene where Sandy rakes leaves, and she will make the Texas state outline. However, many storyboard writers for the episode will state that Sandy was originally supposed to make the symbol for girl power instead, but was changed since Texas fits Sandy's character better. There has been a search for the deleted scene, but so far nothing has turned up. SpongeBob Lost Episode commercials. During the Lost Episode special in Season 3, there were some interesting commercials that aired, which include Patchy trying to find the lost episode. In the commercials, Patchy will end up appearing on American Idol, and even watching TV with Whoopi Goldberg.
Get out of there. Are you telling me you lost the episode? You better go find it because come 9:30, 8:30 Central, I plan on sitting here watching SpongeBob's lost episode. And scram!
There was even a giveaway that had a really cool prize of $1,000, plus treasure chests full of SpongeBob merchandise and holster snack cakes, as well as giving away 500 promotional shirts. That's of course not including a trip to Jamaica, which is just a really awesome prize, and it's sort of a shame that they don't do any promotions like these anymore. The Paper's Climax. In the Season 1 episode, The Paper, the original ending had Squidward's house turn into a giant monster. SpongeBob will eventually have to defeat it with the use of paper. However, for whatever reason, this idea was scrapped. There would be a similar climax in the Season 4 episode, Good Neighbors, but the less said about it, the better. Pre-Hibernation Week, alternative ending. We have another entry for pre-hibernation week. From what I could find, I think this is referring to a scene where Sandy goes to sleep. During the scene, SpongeBob was originally going to say, "Why I oughta," before going to sleep himself. However, the ending was changed to SpongeBob just laughing about it, most likely because it just fits his positive personality better. Grotesque Crab Storyboards. You might remember the scene in the Season 2 episode, Jellyfish Hunter, where Mr. Krabs pushes SpongeBob to catch more jellyfish. In that scene, there's a model of Krabs that is grotesque, and has been dubbed more Krabs by the internet. There were originally supposed to be more grotesque depictions of Mr. Krabs in the episode. However, they were ultimately cut, most likely due to them being too disturbing, but you can still view the storyboards online. Squilliam Returns storyboard. This refers to a storyboard from the Season 3 episode Squilliam Returns, that's in the infamous Behind Closed Doors production book. The drawing would consist of Squidward rubbing his butt after SpongeBob pinches it. However, SpongeBob is drawn rather inappropriately. For obvious reasons, I can't show the image on YouTube, but if you are curious about what it looks like, I'll leave a link about Behind Closed Doors in the description. Sandy gets arrested. I think this entry refers to the Season 7 episode, Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, where she will get arrested at the end for public nudity, which is sort of unfair since Plankton was the one to steal her fur. Besides that though, I don't know if this entry is referring to another incident, so if anyone has any additional information, please let me know in the comments. SpongeBob Doppelgangers. This entry is a reference to some unused characters in the Season 4 special, Dunces and Dragons. The character was supposed to be human versions of SpongeBob and Patrick, but were never used in the episode. Despite that, they are still credited at the end, with the characters being played by Roger Bumpass, and there's even models in an animatic version of them in the episode.
Excuse us, prophecy coming through.
Well, there goes that gig.
There's also another instance of SpongeBob and Patrick doppelgangers, as they were originally supposed to be human versions of them in the first movie, but again, the idea will later be scrapped for whatever reason. Ghost Host, deleted scene. In the Season 4 episode Ghost Host, there were several scenes that didn't make the final cut. I don't want to list them all, but the most prominent example is the Flying Dutchman doing the removing finger trick to SpongeBob. The finger trick is still in the episode, but he does it to Squidward instead. Again, if you're curious about the other scenes that weren't used in the episode, I'll leave a link in the description. Gary being milked. In the Season 5 episode New Digs, there was originally supposed to be a scene of SpongeBob getting snail milk by milking Gary's nipples. If you don't believe me, here's some audio of some writers talking about it.
Snail milk. And that's what we're missing here is the actual milking of the snail.
We toned that down, didn't we?
From Gary, yeah.
Such a shame.
What was it we took out?
I think there was an udder underneath the snail.
Yeah, there was a milking scene. Too bad.
Next time.
However, the scene was never used because the writers realized that Gary is a male snail, and males don't really produce milk, at least not that kind of milk. Yeah, let's move on from this entry. Atlantis SquarePantis being split into two parts. In the US version of Atlantis SquarePantis, the special was advertised as the first SpongeBob TV movie, with the entire special lasting 45 minutes, plus an hour with commercials. However, in several European countries, the episode was split into two parts, and in the case of France and Belgium, 4 parts, which to me makes more sense, since the special itself was scattered all over the place. Also a fun fact that I learned while researching, the episode was originally intended to be a normal 11-minute episode. However, Nickelodeon wanted it to be a TV movie instead. With the writing team probably having to make a lot of last-minute decisions, it's probably a big reason why Atlantis SquarePantis came out as half-baked as it did. Squidward getting run over by a truck. I think this entry is referring to a popular meme on the internet, where Squidward gets hit by a truck.
Hey, yo, what's up? It's Squidward. Hey, look, it's Squidward, man. He's chilling out on the road. Hey, what's up, Squidward? Yo, what's that in the back? Yo, is that a truck coming? Wait a minute. Oh, shit. Squidward! Squidward, move! Squidward, the truck's coming! Oh my god, he has headphones on! He can't hear us! Oh my god, Squidward, move! You're gonna die! Oh my god!
There's been many references to this meme, as well as a few times of Squidward getting run over in the series, but I don't know what this entry is referring to specifically. Neptune's Party. Neptune's Party was supposed to be the original name of the Season 6 special, The Clash of Triton. However, the name was changed, most likely due to Clash of Triton being better for advertising. An image of the original title card exists online, and in Asian and some European countries, the special is still referred to as Neptune's Party. Fuzzy's Golden Belt. In the Season 8 episode Beret the Sponge, we are introduced to Fuzzy Acorns, a karate master who is known for wearing a black belt. However, Fuzzy was originally intended to have a gold belt, but was changed for an unknown reason. But I think it most likely had to do with gold looking a lot like yellow, and a yellow belt in karate is a beginner's belt, and doesn't really fit the status of Fuzzy. Sandy's original naked design. Again, we have another entry about someone's in the kitchen with Sandy. Originally when Sandy lost her fur, she was supposed to look like this. Oh my god, what the hell is that thing? But for obvious reasons, it was replaced with a less disturbing depiction, which is probably for the best. Captain Frosty Mug's red beard. In the Season 9 episode, Licensed to Milkshake, we are introduced to Captain Frosty Mug, who is portrayed as an older drill sergeant instructor who teaches students how to make milkshakes. One of his defining features is his grey beard. However, according to storyboards, Frosty Mug was originally supposed to have a red beard, but was ultimately changed, most likely because the grey beard helped reflect his more mature personality. I also found out that Frosty Mug was voiced by Michael McKean, who is known for playing Chuck in Better Call Saul, and I just thought that was a cool fact. Dead Fish and Hooky rumor. I think this refers to a scene in the Season 1 episode Hooky, where we see a dead fish on the surface getting hooked. While the episode implies that fish died, I didn't find any evidence of there being a dead fish planned in the episode. I know that in another Season 1 episode, Karate Choppers, there was a storyboard that had Sandy karate chopping a fish in the groin, but the scene wasn't added in the episode due to it being inappropriate, but as far as Hooky goes, I couldn't find anything on it. Valentine's Day kissing rumor. I couldn't really find a lot about this entry, but I did read a few fan theories about SpongeBob and Sandy kissing in the episode. Most likely I think this is just fanfic, because as Hillenburg has stated, SpongeBob is asexual. No more getting nailed. In the Season 2 episode Life of Crime, there was a rumor that SpongeBob would say no more getting nailed. Where the scene of Patrick with a wooden plank on his head would show. However, the actual line SpongeBob said was no more getting mail, and the scene with Patrick was somehow confused with the scene in the Season 3 episode My Pretty Seahorse. So yeah, it was all just a big misunderstanding. Plankton taking out SpongeBob's brain. In the Season 2 episode Welcome to the Chum Bucket, we are introduced to a robot version of SpongeBob that Plankton put SpongeBob's brain in. There was supposed to be a scene of Plankton actually removing SpongeBob's brain, however the scene was ultimately scrapped, most likely due to it being disturbing to younger audiences. Mr. Puff and Shell City rumor. In the Season 2 episode Krusty Love, there's a scene of SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs talking about what happened to Mr. Puff, before we get a cutaway gag of a pufferfish light, insinuating Mr. Puff's fate. This has led to many fans to theorize that Mr. Puff is, or at least was, in Shell City. This is backed up by the fact that Shell City is a gift shop that makes and sells knickknacks out of sea life, as well as there being a pufferfish lamp in the shop. While this isn't 100% confirmation that the pufferfish in the movie is Mr. Puff, it does give us more insight about what exactly happened to him. You'll never guess what I found in my pants. This entry is a reference to the Season 3 episode One Crab's Trash. In the episode, there's a scene where SpongeBob says this.
You'll never guess what I found in my sock last night. Go ahead, guess.
No, 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 no.
Some people have reported that SpongeBob originally said pants instead of sock, and that it got replaced due to the original being inappropriate. But when doing my research on the subject, I couldn't find anyone saying that the scene in fact existed, so it's either a case of a Mandela effect or someone trying to make a dirty joke, and to them I have to say, get your mind out of the gutter. SpongeBob and the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. I first thought that this entry was about a SpongeBob reference in Flapjack. However, I couldn't really find an instance of this happening, but I think this entry is more about what the shows have in common. They share a voice actor, with both Captain Knuckles and the Flying Dutchman being voiced by Brian Doyle Murphy. They also have a similar theme of nautical adventures, as well as a similar humor style. I'm not saying that Flapjack is a knockoff of SpongeBob, since I would say Flapjack has a much darker tone, but it's obvious that SpongeBob did have a big influence on Flapjack. Which shouldn't come as much of a surprise, since SpongeBob is one of the most influential cartoons, but it's still nice to see that influence spread. The location of the Rodeo Days Texas town. In the Season 7 episode Rodeo Days, the ending scene includes SpongeBob and the rest of Bikini Bottom participating in a real-life rodeo. This has led to speculation on where the scene actually takes place. However, when doing my research, I couldn't find anything mentioning where the scene took place exactly, at least not yet. But if I had to guess, I'd say it's probably somewhere in the Midwest or Southwest US region, possibly Texas. The location of the stadium in Sweet Victory. Everyone should be familiar with the iconic scene in Band Geeks, where SpongeBob and the band enter the Bubble Bowl, as a recording of live spectators cheer them on. Many people have been wondering where this footage comes from. According to the information I could find, the footage comes from a USFL game on June 16, 1984, between either the Tampa Bay Bandits or Birmingham Stallions against the Memphis Showboats, which took place in the Liberty Bowl in Memphis, Tennessee. Since we're talking about the USFL, another game will appear in the Season 2 episode, Your Shoes Untied. When we see the iconic scene of SpongeBob flipping through the channels, we see another football game. The footage is actually from a 1985 game between the Houston Gamblers and Tampa Bay Bandits, so there's some cool history about SpongeBob and American football. And with that being said, we have finally reached the end of the SpongeBob Iceberg. Anyway, if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to thank you, as this was the hardest video that I've done so far, but I enjoyed going through each entry, and I'd even learned a few things that I didn't know about before. Mainly, it was very interesting to see some of the older promotions that I haven't seen before, as well as some of the early ideas for the series, and sort of seeing it develop into the global series that we know of today. I also like talking about some of the lost media as well, and maybe that'll be something that I'll talk about more in the future. Speaking of which, let me know what you thought about the video, and leave some ideas on other icebergs or videos you'd like to see me do. That's pretty much all I have to say for now, so until next time, Koopa out.